It's the 7th March 1999, and F-117 Nighthawk tears through the dark, stormy skies, low over the Serbian countryside. The pilot is Lieutenant Colonel DarrylZalko, and his mission is to bomb the command center of the Serbian Air Force in Belgrade. It's the headquarters of the force that's going to try and stop him on his mission tonight. Zalko's escorted by F-16 Vipers with missiles that can lock on and destroy enemy radar. As he approaches the Serbian border, he hears a command come over the radio. Because of the bad weather, the escorting Vipers are ordered to immediately turn back and return to base. He's on his own. If he's to make it home safely, he has to remain undetected. A ghost. Fortunately, he's in the most advanced operational fighter bomber that has ever flown. The Nighthawk's stealth capabilities make the 65-foot-long bomber appear on radar as if it was the size of a tennis ball, allowing it so far to go unchallenged in every mission, that is every mission until this one. On the ground, an anti-air missile battery is waiting for him. It's under command of Lieutenant Colonel ZoltanDani. Serbian spies have let him know that the enemy aircraft are coming, and he thinks today is his best chance to take down one of the elusive ghosts. Sweep the skies, Dani orders, and the P-18 early warning radar comes to life. They think at its lowest frequency, it may be capable of detecting the enemy planes. But it also detects clouds and rain, resulting in a screen covered in fake signals. But looking closely, Dani sees something. One tiny dot moving through the masses of clouds. A tiny dot headed right towards them. Zalko's Nighthawk speeds towards this objective, the computer preparing the drop. Dani double-checks the low-frequency radar. He can see the target, it's right in front of them. But he needs the SAM radar to get a lock. Nemo Tia. The men scan the sky just as instructed. Nemo Tia. Yet, the screens remain dead. But then, Zalko opens his bomb bay, increasing the Nighthawk's radar signature just at the wrong moment. Two missiles fire off the launcher in quick succession. Streaking across the sky, Zalko drops his bombs. They follow the path designated by the laser and explode. He soars past the target. It's another mission success, and he ascends to 6 kilometers. But a few seconds later, his cockpit is filled with the wail of an urgent alarm and his controls light up. It's a lock alert. Almost at the same time, he sees the two missiles illuminate the clouds below him and then break through. They're coming right at him. He immediately breaks into evasive maneuvers. He pulls his aircraft up to try and escape. He's pushed into his seat as he ascends as the aircraft screams more warnings at him. The F-117 has no chaff, so with the missile locked on, it's entirely on the pilot's actions to try and evade the threat. Time slows. He knows it's over. But it got me. These are proximity missiles and should detonate near the aircraft. Somehow the first missile malfunctions and races by his canopy. The second missile, though, doesn't malfunction. It explodes, sending out a cloud of sharp shrapnel that perforates the left wing of its Nighthawk. The entire left side is blasted to pieces, illuminating the night sky a fiery orange. The aircraft immediately loses control and is thrown into a wild spin. As the plane spins, Zalko is pinned to his seat and experiences severe forces. The spin increases in violence. Flashing warnings illuminate his controls, and a bright flame shines through the cockpit windows as the landscape spins around him. He knows he's in a critical situation. Even ejection might prove fatal, but it's his only choice. He fights 7 gez of force, a 100 pounds pulling up on each of his arms. Fueled by adrenaline, he gets hold of the ejection handles and pulls. In the blink of an eye, the canopy is blasted away, and his seat rockets out of the cockpit. For 1.5, almost eternal seconds, Zalko free falls through the air, stuck to his chair. He's barely conscious, and he thinks that the seat's still inside the plane, and that the ejection seat has malfunctioned. But then he feels the tug of the opening parachute and sees his burning Nighthawk tumbling away into the night. The violence of the spinning wreck is replaced by a total calm. Zalko breathes heavily as he takes it all in. He's alive. But then another thought hits him. Man, Mom is not gonna be happy about this. He knows the enemy are going to be searching for him. If he can't fall to the ground unseen, he can still get rescued and get back home with no further complications. But then he looks up. He notices his parachute is bright orange. He might as well be waving a flare. With his hopes of going unseen dashed, he takes out a survival radio to report he's alive and well. Mayday, 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 Vega 31, Vega 31 going down. To his massive relief, the mayday is heard. Vega 31, Magic copies your mayday. Last position. Vega 1, last position in aircraft. Point after target. Zalko sees a ditch from above. He doesn't get to say much more before hitting the ground. He's now alone, deep behind enemy lines. Zalko runs for the ditch he saw on the way down. He quickly paints himself with mud and tries to hide as he awaits rescue. News of the downed plane quickly spreads. Serbians waste no time and rapidly initiate a search. All around him, the activity gains momentum as more and more men appear. Men of the Serbian army come the area, gradually joined by local policemen and civilians as the news spreads. Everybody wants to find him. Flashlights illuminate the fields and trucks roll past on the nearby highway. Zalko can do nothing but sit and pray. Then he hears a rustle in the undergrowth getting louder. Just outside his ditch, someone is searching. He stays still and quiet like a rock, quieting his breath. He hears panting and snuffling. It's a dog. Slowly and carefully, Zalko pulls out his knife. The dog gets closer. He weighs his options. Should he kill the dog? If he did, could he do it silently? He finally makes up his mind to spare the dog, reasoning that if he did kill it, the owner would be quick to follow. Then, to Zalko's massive relief, the dog turns, jumps up and leaves. The radio crackles to life. Sandy 01, Vega 31, over. Zalko's eyes go wide. They're here. Go ahead, Sandy 01, over. Vega 31, is it okay to come down there? Zalko doesn't respond. He peeks out of his hiding spot, searching the area for threats. Flashlights shine in the distance. Over now, pass. Vega 31, if you don't answer, we're gonna try this later. He makes his decision. Yeah, okay, let's go for it. Zalko turns on his infrared strobe as a chopper races into the area, but the stroke fails and the helicopter can't see him. He curses his luck and desperately checks for threats. He has a backup, but it's nowhere near as subtle. But it's now or never. Zalko makes a quick decision and pops a flare. Bright light spills all around him and illuminates the area, pointing out his position for the rescue helicopter and the enemy alike. There he is. The helicopter sweeps in rapidly as the enemy also closes in at the same time in the distance. Flashlights from enemy patrols are all pointed towards the flare. But then another transmission comes through the radio. Snuff your flare. It blinds our night vision. Thinking quickly, Zalko rushes to take the flare and dunk it in the mud just as the rescue helicopter comes in to land right in front of him and is greeted by an American rescue team. How you feeling, sir? Great. Now let's get out of here. The field is blasted with wind as a helicopter rises up into the air and exits the scene with just seconds to spare before the enemy spills over the landing site. ZoltanDani and his crew to this day remain the only team to have downed a stealth aircraft in combat. When talking about the incident, Dani would later say, "When it hit, it felt very good." The US didn't destroy the wreck, and the Serbian forces salvaged the mortally wounded Nighthawk unimpeded. And today, you can still see pieces of Zalko's aircraft in the Museum of Aviation in Belgrade. Zalko always expressed a desire to find the man who shot him down and congratulate him. He finally got his wish in 2011, just 12 years after the incident. The end of 20th century was packed with unforgettable military stories. Here's another one. What many call the last tank battle of the century.